Remember when I uploaded that video to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Disney? I reviewed The Illusion of Life, The Nine Old Men, and a book called Animation Magic. Again, thank you, Kesh, for sharing the book on one of your videos. I also briefly reviewed the Encyclopedia of Walt Disney's Animated Characters and a book on how to draw the Snow White characters. On the same day, Once Upon a Studio became available to watch on Disney+, and there were so many books hidden throughout the short that I even made a video listing all of them. 3 of them I reviewed for the video I mentioned before. There was another 2 I already have, but I'll save those for another time. But strangely enough, of the 3 books that appeared that I reviewed in the short, not a single one of them was Disney's Animation Magic. However, there was a different book that was made by the same author, and that book is called The Alchemy of Animation by Don Hahn. As you can see, it's a lot thinner than I was hoping it'd be, but maybe there's a lot of good information within the book anyway. And since it was one of the books that was shown cover first, along with some of Disney's art of books, I'm sure there's a lot more to it than it looks. One thing I need to address in this book, however, is that they actually thought to put the information that would be on a dust jacket on the paperback version with these little flaps. Why I bring this up now? Well, remember that little stink I made about it in the Paper Dreams review? Because my copy didn't come with the dust jacket? Well, I'm glad they addressed that issue in this book. Anyway, the book is broken down into 3 chapters, or acts as they call it. Each chapter goes over each stage of making an animated movie: pre-production, production, and post-production. Act 1 goes over the idea of the movie, the story structure, the pitch, how the look and feel of the movie is created, the voice actors, pretty much everything you expect in getting a movie ready for production. Act 2 goes over the 3 mainstream animation styles they use for the industry: CGI, hand-drawn animation, and stop-motion animation. At the time of this book's release, Disney didn't have many animated movies that were CG animated. And keep in mind, this was made before Princess and the Frog was released, so they primarily talked about Pixar's movies. This chapter talks about the software developers, how they made certain software packages do things that weren't possible before. They talk about technical directors, modeling, lighting, things usually discussed when talking about CG animation. For the parts about hand-drawn animation, they go over how a hand-drawn animator is kind of like an actor with a pencil, how the rough animation is cleaned up and turned into what is seen in the final product. It even shows what may be a screenshot of their CAPS software, the digital ink and paint animation tool that they use for the Disney Renaissance. For the parts about stop-motion animation, which is said to be one of the oldest forms of animation, they compare it to filming a live-action movie. The sets had to be sturdy, the paints on the characters had to be sturdy, there had to be trapdoors for animators to move in and out of scenes, and unlike today, they didn't use traditional hand-drawn animation to test out the animation before doing it. Movies brought up in this section include Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach. Act 3 wraps things up by talking about music editing, adding sound effects, digital cinema, and whatever you can do to get into the animation industry. However, while I was reading this book, I've been getting some major deja vu vibes. I feel like I've read half the text here before, but not in this book. Even the names of the chapters feel familiar. This book here is called Disney's Animation Magic. Before we continue, I'd like to give a special thanks to Kesh from Kesh Arts for bringing this book to my attention. In his video, My Favorite Art Books for Inspiration. Go check him out if you haven't already. The book was written by Don Hahn, the producer of beloved Disney classics such as Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. The book says The Lion King was an original story, but it's actually based on Hamlet by Shakespeare. Chapter 1, The Idea, goes over the pre-production parts. It also tells about what kind of Disney characters are in the movie, what kind of songs there are. It even tells how the central action and central theme are important to the story. Chapter 2, The Creation, takes us through the production pipeline, goes over things like background design, layout, animation, cleanup, even talks about digital production and CAPS, which stands for Computer Animation Production System. It was an animation software Disney created to do digital ink and paint. From the pictures I've seen of it, it kind of looks like Microsoft Paint, but with animation capabilities. Chapter 3, The Finishing Touches, goes over the post-production of the movies, such as editing and the final music, but it also tells you how you can be an animator. It also tells you what books to look into for reference on how to be an animator. You don't think? The two books appear to be the same thickness, same height and width, same author. Let's look inside. I knew it! The Alchemy of Animation reused text from Animation Magic. But what does alchemy even mean? Okay, so apparently alchemy is a synonym for magic. Also, remember how I said the Disney Animation Kit workbook reused bits from Animation Magic? Well, I forgot to mention that the book called the whole kit an Animation Magic Kit, because the art of animation is basically a magic trick. But not only did the Alchemy of Animation reuse some of Animation Magic's text, they also changed the order a bit in what's presented. For example, parts of pages 10 and 11 in Animation Magic are retold in pages 15 and 16 of the Alchemy of Animation, which are also summed up in pages 16 and 17 of Disney's Animation Kit workbook. Pages 18 through 21 are retold in pages 24 through 27 in Disney's Animation Kit. Pages 12 and 13 in Animation Magic are retold in pages 18 and 19 of Alchemy of Animation. Pages 24 and 26 in Animation Magic are summed up in page 36 of Alchemy of Animation, which are also summed up in pages 30 and 31 in Disney's Animation Kit. Page 77 in Animation Magic is retold in page 28 of Alchemy of Animation. Pages 50 and 52 in Animation Magic are reversed in page 88 of Alchemy of Animation. Page 60 of Animation Magic is retold in page 95 of Alchemy of Animation. And pages 82 and 83 in Animation Magic are summed up in page 39 of Alchemy of Animation. If the Alchemy of Animation is just basically a retelling of Animation Magic, what is the real difference between the two books? Well, Animation Magic is not only more graphically impressive, it also dives deeper into the essence of a Disney film, telling us what kind of characters there are, which fall under 7 categories, such as the heroes, the companions, the villains, the fools, the parents, the mentors, and the chorus, the kind of songs that are used for the movies, which also fall under 5 categories, the anthem, the love song, the I Want song, the villain song, and the pure entertainment song. And it tells what questions a character designer should answer, such as when they lived, how rich or poor they are, if they're comical or noble, how old they are, if we should love or hate the character, and even what time of day it is. It's also only 96 pages long, and it originally cost $16.99. The Disney Animation Kit workbook was 64 pages long, but it cost $19.99. But it came with a peg bar, animation paper, animation cells, markers, pencils, 2 flip books, and a piece of Disney film reel. It was a companion book to Animation Magic. And I know I said Animation Magic was a companion book to the kit, but companionship is a two-way street. But unlike Animation Magic, which goes behind the scenes for Disney's animated movies, Disney's Animation Kit workbook only goes a little bit behind the scenes, while the rest of it is full of fun animation exercises for you to do. The Alchemy of Animation dives into the making of an animated movie in general, without the character archetypes or song archetypes shown in Animation Magic. It gives more details on each production phase, and unlike Animation Magic, which primarily goes over hand-drawn animation and what little CGI animation they had at the time, including Pixar's Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, and Disney's Dinosaur. The Alchemy of Animation goes over CGI, hand-drawn animation, and stop-motion animation, in that order. It's also 144 pages long, making it 48 pages longer than Animation Magic, and 80 pages longer than Disney's Animation Kit workbook. And not only that, the Alchemy of Animation originally cost $19.95, meaning for $2.96 more, you get 48 additional pages, minus the pages about the character and song archetypes. And for 5 cents less, you get 80 more pages, minus the fun animation exercises, and the stuff included in the kit to help you get started in doing animation. Also, remember that little quip I made about Don Hahn not predicting the live-action remakes of the animated movies in Animation Magic? In the book, there's a part that says, it's hard to imagine Aladdin's genie, Alice's Wonderland, or a flying elephant named Dumbo appearing in a live-action movie. If only Don Hahn had predicted Disney would actually make them appear in live-action with live-action remakes of their respective movies. Well, I may have neglected to mention this in my Disney Animation Kit review, but that sentence is also present there. Anyway, that sentence got removed in The Alchemy of Animation, because Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, motion captured, computer-generated characters are mentioned, meaning Don Hahn knew Disney would do the inevitable and make live-action remakes of their animated classics. Animation Magic originally came out in 1996, back when Toy Story was the only CG animated movie ever made. But then they went and made a Millennium Edition in 2000 to celebrate the new century, when they had more CGI films to talk about. The Alchemy of Animation came out in 2008, when movies like WALL-E and Ratatouille were around. But that begs the question, why would Don Hahn reuse text from his first animation book in his third animation book? Also, just a reminder, the Disney Animation Kit is the second animation book Don Hahn has made. Could it be that The Alchemy of Animation was originally the third edition of Animation Magic? And if so, why didn't it get its own Disney Animation Kit? And for that matter, why would they make a new book rehashing what Animation Magic has talked about, while also taking away everything that made Animation Magic fun to read? Was Disney afraid that people might end up making movies with their exact essence by having access to this book, and access to a computer that could help them make animated movies by themselves? And ask Don Hahn to make a more generalized book? We may never know, because the behind the scenes, or pages if you will, of the making of a book are never released. But I felt it necessary to share this information with everyone. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.